Story 1. The Bond That Broke. I always thought best friends were meant to protect each other. We shared secrets, laughter, and childhood fears, the things no one else could ever understand. But when the truth finally revealed itself, I realized something horrifying. The boy I trusted with my life was never really my friend at all. It began in a small town where the streets turned empty after dusk and the forest whispered things you weren't meant to hear. My best friend, let's call him Daniel, was the kind of kid who seemed too quiet, too observant. While I rushed into the world with careless laughter, Daniel always stayed one step behind, eyes sharp, as though memorizing every mistake I made. We were 12 when the first strange thing happened. Walking home from school, we decided to cut through the forest. The air that day carried a sharp chill, even though it was late summer. As the trees swallowed us, Daniel whispered something that froze me in place. "They're watching us." I laughed it off, but when I followed his gaze, I noticed shadows among the trees. Not animals, not people, just shapes, tall and unmoving. By the time I blinked, they were gone. I told myself it was a trick of the light, but Daniel smiled coldly, knowingly, as if he had expected me to see them too. That night, I couldn't sleep. My window looked out toward the forest, and just past the tree line, I swore I saw Daniel standing there, staring at my house. When I asked him about it the next day, he only shrugged. Maybe I was. Best friends watch out for each other. His words felt wrong, like a promise meant to keep me quiet. Story 2. Signs of something darker. The following weeks grew heavier. Daniel seemed to know things he shouldn't. When I forgot my homework, he reminded me before the teacher asked. When my mother got sick, he whispered it to me before the phone even rang. And then there were the animals. Dead birds appeared near my doorstep, wings twisted unnaturally. A stray cat we fed turned up mangled outside the shed. Every time, Daniel was there first, waiting, watching, smiling faintly as though it was all part of some game I didn't understand. One evening, I confronted him. "Why are you always there? Why do you act like you knew this would happen?" He tilted his head, eyes glinting under the fading light. "Because I did. You don't get it yet, do you? We're not friends. We never were. You're mine. You always have been." His voice wasn't the voice of a child anymore. It was deeper, layered, as though something else spoke through him. I ran home that night, heart pounding, ears ringing with his words. My mother asked what was wrong, but how could I tell her? That my best friend wasn't just strange. He was something else entirely. The next day, Daniel acted normal. Too normal. He laughed at jokes, shared his lunch, talked about school like nothing had happened. But every time his eyes caught mine, I felt it, the truth pressing against my chest like a weight I couldn't shake. One night, I woke to the sound of tapping on my window. At first, I thought it was a branch. But when I pulled back the curtain, Daniel was standing there. Only, it wasn't really Daniel. His skin looked pale, stretched too thin over his face. His smile was wide, too wide, splitting his cheeks like cracks in porcelain. And behind him, in the forest, the shadows from before were waiting, watching, moving closer. Story 3. The Photograph. The whispers of doubt had already begun to crawl through my head, but it was the photograph that shattered everything. I was scrolling late at night, unable to sleep, when I stumbled across an old classmate's social media post. It was a picture from last year's camping trip. Everyone was smiling, huddled around the fire, except for me. Or rather, the boy sitting beside me looked just like me. Same jacket, same hair, same tilted grin. But it wasn't me, because I was the one behind the camera that night. I had taken that exact picture. The firelight reflected in his eyes seemed wrong, too bright, like the flames were inside him. I felt my throat tighten as I zoomed closer. His hand was gripping my best friend's shoulder, fingers digging in too tightly, leaving white marks on the skin. But no one else seemed to notice. Comments flooded the photo. "Such a great night. Best friends forever." Not a single soul questioned why there were two of me. The realization hit me like ice water. This wasn't about jealousy. This wasn't paranoia. Something had slipped into my life, wearing my face, walking in my place, taking what belonged to me. And my best friend, he couldn't even tell the difference. Or worse, maybe he could and chose the other me. That night, sleep wouldn't come. I kept hearing faint laughter outside my window. My laughter, Story 4. The Replacement. By morning, I was determined to confront him. I rushed to his house, knocking until my fists ached. His mother opened the door with a smile that froze my blood. "Oh, you're back again," she said. "Back again?" Her eyes flickered behind me, and her smile widened. I turned, slowly, like my body already knew what I didn't want to see. There I was, standing at the end of the walkway. Same clothes, same face, but with a cruel smirk that didn't belong to me. He waved at her. She waved back, as if he was the son she had always known, and I was nothing more than a stranger. I stumbled backward, my voice breaking as I screamed, "That's not me. Can't you see? That's not me." But she just frowned, pity in her eyes, before closing the door. Through the glass, I saw my best friend appear in the hallway. He wrapped an arm around the other me. They looked like brothers, like pieces of a puzzle that fit perfectly together. And I was left outside, watching, forgotten and erased. That night, I tried to call him, but when he answered, his voice was cold. "Stop pretending," he whispered. "We know who the real one is now." The line went dead. Story 5. The Final Betrayal. I didn't know where else to go. I hid in my room, curtains drawn, phone clutched in my shaking hand. Hours passed, but I felt him near, like a shadow stretching across my walls. At 3:17 a.m., the door creaked open. My best friend stepped inside. For a heartbeat, relief washed through me. He had come for me. He remembered. But then another figure slipped in behind him. The other me. His grin stretched wide, too wide, splitting his face like a mask peeling apart. My best friend's eyes glistened with something I couldn't read. Fear, pity, or maybe even loyalty to him. "Why are you doing this?" I begged. "You know me. You've always known me." He didn't answer. He just looked between us and then stepped closer to him. I felt my heart stop. The other me's voice came out in a whisper that scraped against my bones. "You were never his best friend." I was. They left together, shutting the door behind them. And I was left alone in the silence, trembling in the dark. When dawn broke, I checked my phone again. My social media profile was gone. My photos erased. My messages deleted. In every picture, in every memory, he was there instead of me. And the worst part? No one noticed. Not a single person questioned the switch. My best friend had chosen him. Chosen my replacement. Now, I wonder, am I still me? Or did I vanish the moment he appeared? Maybe I was never real at all. Maybe I was the shadow, and he was always the best friend.